Chapter 13. There are rumors that the central bank wants to print new banknotes and they plan on putting the president's image on the country's banknotes. Ikeme is granted an interview in which his answer is, "My view is that any serving president foolish enough to lay his head on a coin should know he is inciting people to take it off." The head, I mean. Those now working at the National Gazette pick up the interview or article and blast and blows it out of context. The article puts Ikeme's life in danger and Major Osa is on his case. Matt Bediko is suspected of being his accomplice and is put under surveillance, brought in for interrogation at the police headquarters, and he is held incommunicado for 4 days before he is deported back to England. The reason is that his activities are prejudicial to state security. For the job that he is doing, the Army Council promotes him to full colonel. Chris wants to know from Ikeme what he had said at the lecture at the university, but his phone rings and no one picks it up. Chris gets irritated that Ikeme should be enjoying his sleep when there is trouble in the air and his life is in danger. Man Medico's deportation is relayed by BBC and Chris finds out that Ikeme is missing. Chris goes over to Ikeme's apartment, which is ransacked and upside down, and his neighbors confirm that he had been taken off in handcuffs by military men at night. They also imply that he had been malhandled from the look on his face. Chris remembers that Ikeme had been very furious that what he had said was atrocious and distorted. Chris and Beatrice suggest to go to Elewa's mother's house, but the houseboy does not know where she lives. Chris asks Beatrice to go to work and leave every other investigation to him. He tries in vain to get the president, and no one close to His Excellency seems to have any idea about Ikeme's whereabouts. He also tells Beatrice to continue with her daily activities as if nothing had happened. Chris informs foreign outlets that carry the news of Ikeme's disappearance, forcing the government to issue a statement. The statement announces a plot that has been uncovered by some unpatriotic elements in Kangang working with the foreigners and to destabilize the country. Ikeme is brandished as the masterminder of the plot and played the following roles. He is accused of being the link with the foreign collaborators, the link in Basa with disgruntled chiefs in Abazon, and for inciting students to rebellion against the government during his lecture at the University of Basa. The release also carries Ikeme's arrest and his interrogation and a scuffle which had ended with Ikeme seizing the gun from a soldier and he had been shot accidentally. Report also has it that there is an investigation headed by Major General Ahmed Lango. And Ikeme's body is refused to be handed over because, according to them, they are carrying out some investigation. Lastly, there are further investigations to uncover other accomplices and bring them to book. Chris' first instinct is to leave Basa because he knows that he will be the next online, as predicted by Beatrice. He goes into hiding, and they make phone calls to counterattack the official version and establish the truth about Ikeme's disappearance. Elewa is informed of Ikeme's demise, and Chris advises Beatrice to go to work. Chris meets with Emmanuel, the president of the Students' Union at the University of Basa, and Ikeme's death sends shockwaves among the students. Chris has an interview with BBC Basa correspondent in which he elucidates the detail and the circumstances of Ikeme's death. He calls it a murder, an intentional murder by the government. The journalist who had carried out the investigation is deported the next day. 2 jeep loads of mobile police are sent to apprehend the president of the Student Union and his secretary. They brutalize and sexually assault female students on campus, while many are wounded and hospitalized. They are carried in the ambulance. The British High Commissioner protests Matt Medico's deportation, while security show him a letter incriminating Ikeme and Matt Medico. There is a large number of army and police checkpoints preventing Chris to move freely. Beatrice takes care of Elewa, who is emotionally shattered and pregnant at the moment. The military invades Beatrice's flat, searching for Chris and ransacking her apartment. One of the social manhandles Elewa, who falls down with her pregnancy. They search the whole apartment, but they do not find Chris or anything incriminating, and they leave. It should be noted that as it had been predicted that the president will come after his closest friends. Ikeme's utterance about the head of His Excellency on the banknote is the final nail that had been looked for to silence him. Government propaganda distorts the meaning and the context used to link Ikeme to a fictitious coup plot. He has even brandished the leader and link between his accomplices. His abduction is a direct consequence of government's machination. They link him with Matt Medico to justify the latter's deportation. And to cover up his brutal murder, they concoct a weak narrative of him seizing a gun and a scuffle in which he is shot. It should be noted that this is the man who had been taken out in handcuffs. On the other hand, his neighbors had informed Chris that he had been handcuffed before being whisked away by military men. Chris's attempt to debunk government propaganda puts his life in danger and that of those around him. He becomes a wanted man and the regime unleashes its thugs and brutes on students, molesting them, highlighting oppression and tyranny. The death of Ikeme fulfills the prophecy of Beatrice's, pushing Chris to fear for his life and to go into hiding. He gets solidarity from friends who provide safe hideouts in their boys' quarters for him. And the next thing that he will be thinking to do will be to leave Bassa for his security. It should be noted that this is what power and absolute power can do, to the point that people do not care about the lives of others, even the lives of those who had once been their very close friends.